Hello, my name is Father Charlie Bouchard, and I'm here to offer you a word of hope for the Feast of St. Matthias, which is also Wednesday of the fourth week of Easter. This first reading today is a reflection of what has taken place recently in Rome. You all remember, of course, that Judas, who was one of the original disciples, betrayed Jesus and had to be and he left Jesus' company. And in today's reading, we see the disciples gather to elect a successor to him, Matthias, much in the way that the cardinals came together and elected a successor to Pope Francis just a few days ago. And in the gospel, when we move on, we hear Jesus continuing to elaborate about his identity and his mission. And this time, he doesn't just talk about salvation and about the grace of God, but he talks about his own relationship with the Father. That just as he has love from the Father, so he is extending that love to us. So he moves it from a kind of theological dimension or aspect to a much more human affective dimension in talking about this love that God shares with Jesus and that Jesus shares with us, creating a kind of divine circle. But there's one interesting thing here in which Jesus says, I call you friends. And he uses that term several times in the gospel. And again, it emphasizes that this relationship that we have with the Lord is not just a formal relationship. It's not just what we speak in the creed. It's not just an idea, but rather it is a real affective relationship in which we come to know Jesus as a friend, and Jesus chooses us as his friends. This is important to us because even though we don't often think of it, friendship is really the core of the moral life for us. There is an author, Paul Waddell, who is one of my favorites, who describes friendship as a school for virtue. Not only do we have this friendship with the Lord, but in the earthly friendships that we make, we are able to be formed in virtue because our friends who love us help us to know God better, and they offer us helpful reflections of our own selves. They draw the best out of us, make us the best people we can be. This is particularly true of the special friendship that's found in marriage, where two people come together in order to perfect one another, both in love and in their faith and spirituality. But it's also true in other kinds of friendships that we have that really shape us and enable us to become who we are. In fact, really none of us could grow in virtue or in grace without the help of our friends. So as we hear this gospel passage today about Jesus' love for the Father's love for him, and especially about the friendship that he offers us, let us take a moment to give thanks for our friends, for the good people who draw the best out of us, and in the process also draw us closer to the Lord.